So this is absolutely not the video that I thought we'd be making today, but it's involving three teams. We are diving into the Philadelphia Flyers, we are talking about my Vancouver Canucks, and we are also talking about the Montreal Canadiens. Because these are technically two stories that roughly revolve around my favorite teams, but they all heavily involve the Philadelphia Flyers. So let's dive into, firstly, this. Posted on the R Flyers subreddit earlier this morning by Bereft of Or. Take a look at this post and let me know what you notice. Fire Tocchet, it says. After watching Travis Konecny's post-game interview, I have no doubt this dude has already lost the locker room. The guy was never the right pick for the job. I have never soured on a coach so quickly. Well, that's nice to see, isn't it? That's how things are going with Rick Tocchet and the Philadelphia Flyers. I got it. We should hire another ex-Flyer to coach the team. It'll work this time for sure. I've had enough of this dude. At this point, we need to let Tocchet finish the season to get Philadelphia a better draft pick. Who could have seen this coming? One of the top replies goes out there and says, it's almost like hiring Tocchet was a bad idea in the first place. I live on Vancouver Island, so it's hard to escape the Canucks media bubble. I could see from a mile away it was a bad hire. I'm in Victoria, and same. Been a Flyers fan stuck in Canuck land, and all my Canuck fan friends would always complain about Tocchet. The moment we hired him, I knew we were doomed. Another comment says, I've been saying the same thing the day we hired him. Preach! Preaching to the choir here. I soured on Tocchet immediately, and I never liked his hiring. However, I took it to a new level when I saw him turn Michkov's struggles into a comedy bit with Biz on that national broadcast a few weeks ago. Now, speaking about that Michkov and his struggles, there are a number of things that we can talk about when it comes to Michkov this season and how he compares to a very particular rookie in Montreal. Just look at the numbers. Matvei Michkov this season, 21 years old, has 28 points in 52 games. He is on pace for 43 points over 81 games on the year, which of course is a 20-point downgrade from the stellar 63 points in 80 games that he had last year as a rookie. Meanwhile, you go over to Oliver Kapanen on the Montreal Canadiens, 22 years old. This year he's got 29 points in 54 games played. On pace for a 44-point season, 24 goals and 20 assists, again, as a rookie. Kapanen, by all accounts, with Ivan Demidov and Yuri Slafkovsky, has been looking pretty good. And as a first-year player, a center, a young guy, there's a lot to like and a lot to look forward to when it comes to the future of what Kapanen can provide the Montreal Canadiens and the National Hockey League. This was posted about on the R-Habs subreddit. If we take a look at this post made by Sweaty Toe 7175. This Kapanen versus Michkov stat is breaking my brain. I had to double check this after last night because it didn't feel real, but Kapanen now having more points than Michkov at this stage of the season is wild. It's not even a knock on Michkov's talent. That's what makes this so confusing. The skill is obvious, but between usage, trust, and whatever's going on behind the scenes, cough cough, with Rick Tocchet, it just hasn't clicked the way everyone expected. Meanwhile, Kapanen's quietly producing and taking advantage of every opportunity he gets. It honestly makes me wonder if Bob Rob saw something when he passed on Michkov at the draft. Not saying he was right long term, but short term, this ain't easy to ignore. At this point, I wouldn't be shocked if Michkov ends up being moved. Sometimes a reset is the only way insanely talented players actually take off. Now, yeah, could Michkov get moved? I don't want to say it's impossible, especially with Rick Tocchet at the helm. I mean, he's the reason, essentially, Andrei Kuzmenko got moved out. and then Ilya Mikheyev, and then Daniel Sprong. Not necessarily all Russian dudes, but guys that exhibit various skills that just don't seem to excel under Rick Tocchet's systems. Kapanen wasn't even in the league at Michkov's age. A better comparison would be comparing Michkov next year to this year's Cappy. And that is true as well. The age plays a factor into it. Kapanen is 22, Michkov is 21, so obviously there is an extra year or two's worth of development for Matvei Michkov, considering the fact that when Kapanen was Michkov's current age, the guy wasn't even in the National Hockey League. He was back in Timrå. So obviously you can say there is some ageism going on here, but I think what this really does boil down to is how Rick Tocchet and his coaching has not been a good fit with the Philadelphia Flyers. The one player whom I'll always support no matter what is Travis Konecny. He gave his whole career to us, and this is how we treat him? I just listened to the interview. Konecny sounds so broken down and defeated by the whole process. Anyone think he's regretting his extension? He probably signed when he bought into what Jones and Briere were selling. It just hasn't come out the way any of them expected it to. I guarantee he'd be a key contributor or a lightning rod on a team like the Tampa Bay Lightning. And then there is the actual link over here. This is the post-game Philadelphia versus Boston. It's really tough. You can see that the joy is being drained from them. All the style and personality they played with at the beginning of the year has been stripped out. And if you take a look at the Philadelphia Flyers and their position in the NHL standings, they are down there, tied for 6th in the wildcard race, essentially. They are, what is that? Tied for second last, too? Okay, it's a pretty big tie. Columbus, Ottawa, Philadelphia, and Toronto all have 57 points, tied for second last in the East, but also tied for 6th overall in the wild card. But the Flyers are 10 points out of a playoff spot at the moment, losing 3 games in a row in regulation. So, needless to say, it's not really looking good for Rick Tocchet and the squad that he has assembled. The losses are piling up, fans are giving up, players look like they are giving up. Other folks are going out there and saying, I didn't like the Tocchet hire, just another typical Flyers bad move. He's been a bad coach everywhere he has been. He had one season where his team shot at an astronomical shooting percentage, then the rest is the slop that we are watching. But he is a former Flyer, so he has to be the guy. And with all that said, it's ruining some of the players that currently exist on this Flyers team, like Matvei Michkov. We are now legitimately comparing him to Oliver Kapanen and saying that Cappy is having a better impact as a center on a second line versus Michkov, who can't go out there and get himself more than 16 minutes of time on ice in a game. Talk about a fall from grace here. Look at the amount of losses that the Flyers have been piling up over the past few weeks. It's been a January to absolutely forget. 2 wins and however many losses this is. Okay, 3 wins if you include the Edmonton Oilers 5-2 game over here. But ultimately, it's not looking good for the Philadelphia Flyers. Canucks fans, Canadiens fans, you can have your laughs at this point. I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about all of this discourse and these results that we are seeing? Do you agree with the Fire Tocchet narrative that's been tossed out there on social media? Do you think that's the right way to go about things? Let me know in the comments all your opinions. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.